What is up, Sooner Nation? Welcome back to the Sooner Surge. Here for a little recruiting talk, specifically with Grant Brix. Before we get started, make sure you subscribe to our channel. Go to YouTube, subscribe to the Sooner Surge so you can be notified when we are dropping videos. And Hunter, I know probably a lot of people have seen the Will Fong'd prediction of Grant Brix to Nebraska. Again, Nebraska is about an hour and a half, little less than an hour and a half from his hometown. Everyone knew Nebraska is an option. We know it is. This isn't a surprise. Now, has a decision been made? Not that we know of. Has anything been announced? No. But let's just talk about if OU were to not land Grant Brix, kind of maybe avenues they would go or what this would mean. Because I, for one, think it would be a big loss because Grant Brix is an elite offensive lineman. He's a guy that's going to, I'm for sure going to say, would play on Sundays in his future. So to lose him would be a loss for sure for OU. And they want to land Grant Brix, but the prediction is right now that it's Nebraska. So
yeah, anytime you could possibly land the top 15 offensive linemen in the class, that's a big get. Unfortunately, that doesn't seem to be the case with Grant Brix. He got Fong'd today to Nebraska. Nebraska very close to him. That was the thing OU was fighting an uphill battle on. This is a kid that wants to stay close to home. And I mean, the simple truth is Norman, Oklahoma is not close to Logan, Iowa. And then look at what Matt Rule's doing at Nebraska.
Exactly.
He's recruiting very well. I mean, if you're landing the number one player in Iowa, a top 15 offensive lineman overall in Grant Brix, you're doing something right on the recruiting trail. I see pretty much weekly some clips from Matt Rule's press conferences every week. And I mean, not shocked that kids are going to want to play for him. He seems like a very genuine coach that's really going to be, I think he's the guy that's going to turn around Nebraska from where they've been in the dumps over the past 10 years or so.
I agree, Hunter. And what you said there is, it's the truth. This isn't necessarily a thing where OU has screwed up and messed up on. It's more of a thing maybe where Nebraska, what Matt Rule is doing there is very genuine. It's special. I think I agree with you, Hunter, that he is the guy. And honestly, Grant Brix fits that Nebraska mold to a T. And he's local. He's pretty local, close to Lincoln, Nebraska. So all that, obviously, would still love to get Grant Brix. But, it's been a quiet recruit. And the fact that he did visit OU and did not, commit or anything, there was really not a lot of talk after that. That could have been a telling sign to me that, maybe it wasn't totally in love with it, or it just didn't sway him enough because Nebraska is a school he loves, and we know it is.
Exactly. Grant Brix visited for the West Virginia game, November 11th. I expected if he was going to be a Sooner, it would be within that next week following the visit. Now it's November 21st, so 10 days later, and this is coming out. Still hasn't committed anywhere, but you wouldn't think it's OU with how long it's been from that most recent visit to OU. But OU's doing honestly just fine in this recruiting class on the offensive line. I really like what they put together. They started it off with Isaiah Autry, nephew, I believe, of Marcus Dupree. His mom played basketball for Pat Sumlin at Tennessee. So very athletic, 6'6", over 350, going to be a playmaker, and he's undervalued. He's only a 3-star in the class. So a really good find by Bill Bedenbaugh. Another one comes from another continent, and that's Daniel Akinkunmi from England, who is, he's only played football for what? I think he's told us he played under 20 games in his life. He's very new to the game. His stuff he's saying about what he's going to get his body fat down to, that's just insane for a D1 college lineman. And he's a 3-star right now. If he was in the U.S., he would be one of the top linemen in the country. It's just he's barely ever played football, and he plays at the NFL Academy in England. It's hard for recruiting services to rank him because the competition, his exposure, and all that isn't to where it is. And Bill Bedenbaugh is one that develops his linemen. Like he's never really landed the big time lineman. I mean, he landed a 5-star or 2 before, depending on where you look, but did they really pan out? Not really. It was more of the 3 to 4 stars. Creed Humphrey was one that was highly rated. I think he was about almost a 4 or 4 on certain services, and then turned out he's top center in the NFL right now.
I mean,
bowls every single year. PFF's favorite football player every single year. So Bill Bedenbaugh's done very well in that, and getting to the transfer portal, where that is kind of what college football has become, the transfer portal. Right now, I mean, before the injury of Tyler Guyton, 3 of OU's 5 starters were transfer portal guys.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the route that you can always go. And I mean, would you want to land elite linemen out of high school? 100% yes. No one's denying that. I'm not here to sunshine pump and say, well, they missed out. Everything's great. If they miss out on Brix, it hurts. But what we do know is it's true that when linemen are looking to go elsewhere, especially linemen who are good enough to play on Sundays, they're wanting to go play for a guy who can get the job done. And all you got to do is look at on Sundays who's playing and where they're from. And Bill Bedenbaugh's credibility and reputation speaks for itself every Sunday, because there's guys all over the league that played under Bill Bedenbaugh, and he's going to continue to mold guys and shape guys on offensive line. And you could argue this year, right? You got Guyton, Walter Rouse probably would be drafted, and then the young guys they got, Caden Green and Sexton, they got 2 absolute studs on the line in the future. So I just think, yes, does this hurt? It does. You want to land all the guys you can get. Are they in dire need now? No. They'll get someone. They'll add whatever they need. Bill Bedenbaugh would do that, but it does look like, the way it looks right now here on a Tuesday afternoon, that Grant Brix is in favor right now of Nebraska for sure.
Yeah, next year I would expect at least one to come in through the transfer portal that's going to see any sort of meaningful action, because you're losing Tyler Guyton. He's going to be a first-round pick. Caden McTollier, he's gone, is going to get drafted. He's been very, very good over his 2 years at OU. He's improved drastically since he first arrived. Then last year, people were still questioning him. I was one of them. And then to this year, he's really just stepped up on the field and in the leadership role off the field. Then you have Walter Rouse, who transferred in from Stanford. That was one Bill Bedenbaugh won against Nebraska, as Rouse was going to Nebraska, and Bedenbaugh changed his mind with very limited time left before he had to officially make that transfer decision. So I would expect somebody, at least one, to come in this year through the portal. But next year, you look at what they have. Josh Bates, I mean, we couldn't stop hearing about him early on as a true freshman, early enrollee. I think he's going to see a lot of time next year, pushing for a starting role. Keith Ozeta, that was one that was kind of name dropped out of nowhere by Brent Venables, and he didn't even enroll early. He was a June enrollee, so very limited sort of practice reps for him, as he only had the summer and fall ball before those comments were made by Brent Venables. So Jacob Sexton has been very, very, very good, stepping up. Caden Green's looking like he will be a first-round pick when it's his time to go pro. So OU's going to be fine on the offensive line. They have a lot of guys right now that are younger, and then the transfer portal is always going to be here now. And today's college football, to pick up that 1 or 2 starters that you're going to need out of the portal.
Yeah, and again, Will Fong'd has predicted Grant Brix to Nebraska. And look, if you have a chance to turn around a program and be part of a big-time change at Nebraska, I can definitely see the pull in that direction. That would be something special to be a part of, especially if you're grown up as a Husker fan and you're near that area. And one thing about Grant Brix is he's been quiet on it all. He's not someone who's going to kind of play both sides. I think he's a very honest dude. So it does look like Grant Brix. The prediction is to Nebraska. And there you have it. Just kind of our thoughts of that prediction and where OU is moving forward in the line. If you are not a subscribed to the Sooner Surge, please do so. Click on the subscribe button as you go to our YouTube channel and turn on those notifications. Till next time, Boomer.